All right. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Dad at Arms channel. I'm your host, Dad at Arms. I also go by Colt. And I don't really have this isn't an interview today, but we've got something kind of fun planned. So, as you can see, he's peeking into the frame here. I'm joined today by my brother. This is my brother, Michael.
Hello.
He is my favorite artist. Ever since we were kids, Michael has always been into art, always drawing and sketching and stuff like that. So a lot of the art that I have around my game room here, there are commissions that I've had him do for me. So what we thought we would do today, we had one planned in mind. And we might do that at another time, so I won't necessarily talk about that now. But that fell through. Our original plan fell through of what we wanted to do. And so what we decided to do instead is we're going to have a Masters of the Universe sketch contest, a sketch off, if you will.
He-Man sketch off.
Yeah, so we're each going to draw a He-Man, right? And we'll you'll watch us sketch, and we'll just kind of chat as we each sketch our version of He-Man. And I don't know if any of you know, I'm not an artist at all. So
Colt, come on.
So this is
Being too modest.
I am. I don't like to overshadow my brother.
An elaborate prank to show how much more skill you have.
This is definitely a long con. I've been sitting on this for a while, waiting for the perfect moment to finally upstage my brother. No, so we thought it would be fun, and then we're gonna put the sketches up on social media and let everybody vote on the best one. You get to decide who the best artist is, and then everybody who votes on it will be entered into a drawing, and the winner of that drawing gets both sketches that we make today. So, yeah.
And it'll be worth millions.
It will be worth millions. Well, mine will.
Right.
Mine will be.
Mine you can throw in the garbage.
I mean, you can just take it to a thrift store. Don't, So, but I'll just give a quick example of the level of his work that he's done for me over the years. So this was done that you did like over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
This was done a while
improved
ago.
A lot since then.
So I don't know if you guys can see that with the glare. But yeah, so there's that Skeletor. And I'll put better.
I actually would like to redo that one.
That'd be awesome.
Kind of like a 10 years.
Yeah,
later,
10 years down the road.
Do my artwork.
Yeah, I like that. But he also did. This was a commission I had him do for my wife. So he did this Tila portrait.
I think she turned out good.
Yeah, I really like her. And then over on this wall over here is a
Skeletor.
Yeah, you want to go grab that? Is a Skeletor that he did for me and a Leonardo. And I've got other ones hanging on different walls throughout the house.
40.
Oh, yeah. So he did this Skeletor for me. Really cool. And then he did a classic red bandana Leonardo for me. And in the kids' rooms, they used to be in here, but I'm just kind of running out of wall space, so I moved him into the kids' room. But there's a Scorpion from Mortal Kombat that he did, and Link from The Legend of Zelda that he's also done for me. And then down here, I don't know if I can get it off the wall. It's kind of... When I turned 40, he did a big project for me with my name and different characters from all the different franchises and stuff from video games and comics and movies and stuff that I love.
Yeah, that one was supposed to be 40 of your favorite things, but I think it turned into way more than 40.
Yeah, so
I had too much fun with it.
Yeah, so if you see here in the O, that's where He-Man and Tila and Skeletor, Castle Grayskull is, but like Batman's on here, the Joker, the Ninja Turtles are on there somewhere, Sub-Zero and Scorpion, Cthulhu's on there, Indiana Jones, Darth Vader.
References to the Goonies, all the slashers.
Yeah, we've got Pyramid Head, we've got Nemesis, Geralt, Big Daddy from BioShock. Got Calvin and Hobbes in the corner, Lara Croft.
Dark Souls.
Some Dark Souls, Bloodborne. So all kinds of cool stuff. He spent a lot of time on this, and I'll show better examples of these online. I'll upload them. I have the digital files. So, but yeah, so that's just, I mean, if he's that good, imagine how good I am, since I am the better artist.
Wow.
So yeah, but anyway, so we'll have a fun sketch off, and we'll just kind of chat as we do it. But yeah, when you guys can vote on them, the winner. And then those votes will be entered into a drawing, and the winner of that drawing will get both sketches. I'll send them out to you.
Yeah.
So let's begin. Any ground rules or anything?
No.
I want to, I'll take any handicap. I want to give you the advantage.
Nope.
Just
draw He-Man.
May the best man win. May the best He-Man win.
Okay. To us. All right.
Okay, and go. Okay, so just a little, we'll be chatting as we draw, so people don't just have to watch us drawing in silence. But we just, for the first time ever, Michael's wife had never seen the 1987 live-action He-Man movie. And so we just finished watching that. It still is an amazing piece of cinema it's a bad movie, but we love it.
Yeah. There's some things that don't make a ton of sense. Maybe what this video could be is a review of that, plus us drawing.
We'll just let it sit as is, because my review of that is perfect. No notes.
So, yeah, no notes.
But I wanted to ask, I'm older than you by a couple years. I'm obviously the He-Man fan. You're more Batman fan. But what do you remember about He-Man and Masters of the Universe? Like, what's your memories of it?
I absolutely remember the cartoons quite a bit, but I think that was still when I was pretty little. So I don't remember like a ton of details of the 80s cartoon, because my core memories were like of the Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
And then like the 1989 Batman movie. I just remember watching that all the time. I remember watching this 80s He-Man show all the time.
The movie?
Yeah, the live action. Even though it wasn't our favorite, it was still fun to watch.
Yeah, it was a sci-fi. I already messed up, so
it's cool to see. But I just remember all the toys, and we had a lot of the figurines, and I had a ton of fun playing with those. Our dad actually, for Christmas, one year had made us a Castle Grayskull, just out of wood, and that was
it was Eternia. It was the Eternia.
Oh, okay.
Because it was a blue castle that he made, and there was a plaque on it that said Eternia. So it wasn't actually Castle Grayskull, but yeah, that's one of my favorite memories too.
Mm-hmm. So that was cool. But yeah, I just remember liking Skeletor a lot. I've always been a sucker for like skull face type of characters, and he's obviously an awesome villain. A little cheesy at times, but that's part of the charm to him. And then He-Man, how can you not like He-Man? He's just cool. There's such good stuff within the lore and within the cartoon, it's just a lot of fun. And yeah.
Nice.
Shaky camera.
I know. This isn't the best table for it.
I'll try not. I'll lift it up when I erase or something.
Okay. I'm sorry.
And I'm kind of using this comic as a reference just for the pose of He-Man.
So Forge Destiny, the trade paperback, just released fairly recently. Concentrating very hard.
I know. Super exciting during this part.
This is riveting content for everybody out there. So do you have a favorite character? So you said you like Skeletor.
I like Skeletor a lot. I think Trapjaw is very cool aesthetically. You know, I really like the look of him. He's a pretty awesome bad guy. From the I really enjoyed the Revelations and Revolution cartoons. And I think the look of those are just really cool. All the color and artwork in them. He-Man's obviously pretty awesome in that.
It's just a cool upgrade.
I don't know. Man at Arms is always kind of cool. He kind of reminds me a lot of Batman.
I think he that universe is Batman, you know.
Mm-hmm. So I kind of relate to him a lot. I think I like a lot of the villain designs, probably more than the heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that the heroes aren't cool, but
sure.
I mean, there's
Everyone
some really cool villains in the Master of the Universe. What about who's the? I don't know a ton of the characters, but who would you say your top 3 goofiest Masters of the Universe?
Top 3 goofiest? I think Stinkor is super goofy. He's the skunk man that stinks. And
so where does he come in?
So
is he in the 80s cartoon?
He was never in the 80s cartoon, but he was in the original toy line. He showed up. He had kind of an origin story in the 2000 series. But yeah, he was just a creature in the 2000 series. He was a kind of like a sloth-like creature that was transformed into Stinkor by Skeletor. I believe it was Skeletor. I think that's what happened. And had the power of stench. So I think he's goofy because he's just a skunk man. Mm-hmm. And the toy was cool because they mixed in patchouli oil with the plastic to make the toy actually stink, which was kind of a fun little gimmick. It was kind of similar to Moss Man because Moss Man had smelled like a pine tree air freshener.
Oh, really?
Because he was flocked with the fake flocking, and they gave him a pine fresh scent.
Yeah, where else did you find stuff like that?
Yeah. So I definitely think Stinkor is one of the goofiest. Another goofy one. I'm just spending a lot of time doing the shading on the upper lip.
Yeah. We're drawing He-Man naked for this, right?
I mean, if that's what you want. This is Dad at Arms After Dark.
After Dark. So Stinkor.
Yeah, Stinkor. I'm kind of looking around to get a good idea.
Fisto.
I hate Fisto just because of the name. I think it's generally a cool concept. Like he's got a big metal fist, you know? But the name just sounds like a sex joke. If I'm being honest. And so I've never liked that character because of that. I don't think he's necessarily a goofy character, but his name is really goofy. Faker. Because he's just a robotic evil He-Man.
He's pretty cool.
But the name is just so goofy to me.
Yeah.
He's Faker because he's faking. I think, and here's the thing. There's a lot of cool character concepts. It's the names that are goofy to me. Like Clamp Champ is a cool character, but again, it's the name that's goofy and silly. I think Dragstore is probably one of the goofiest characters because he's just got a wheel in his chest and he rolls around on it. I think he had a zip cord mechanic where you pulled it out and he'd go zipping across the floor. So that was definitely a goofy character. Let's see. What's another one? Extendar. Extendar is super goofy.
Just basically extends.
Yeah, so he looks like a knight in like shiny silver armor, but like his arms extended, his legs extended, and then like his head extended, kind of like Mechanics did.
So if you needed something off of a high shelf.
Yeah, if you needed to get something off the top shelf where they hide the cookies.
Nice. Was he in the cartoons or just a toy?
No, he was just the toy. He was like one of the later waves of toys.
It would have been fun to be the group that just comes up with the new figures. What little function could we do
exactly
to turn it into
like
a
how
toy?
do we make this into a toy?
Yeah.
This silly gimmick. So yeah, those are probably, I'm sure there's goofier ones that I'll think of later, but those are the three that stick out to me. The villains are, I think, like toy wise, it's always fun to see the villains because they're monsters and you know, they're weird. They're weirdos. And the heroes are more kind of humanoid, just kind of basic humans for the most part. I mean, yeah, you've got bee people like Buzz Off. You've got the bird people like Stratos.
Mm-hmm.
Ram Man is basically the Juggernaut from X-Men.
Right.
But they're still fun. And I just think the world is fantastic because it's just, I mean, there's a castle with a skull for a face that exists.
So cool.
Like, that's really rad. Hey, is it metal?
It's metal.
Yeah, I remember playing with the toys in our room and like just making a mess of everything because we just have these big battles and we'd have like blocks of Legos all over the place because they were like, we'd use those as like missiles and rockets, and then we build makeshift forts out of them that we could destroy with the He-Man figures, you know. It was definitely a fun childhood.
Did they tease any particular villain at the end of Revolution?
Yeah, so they teased the arrival of Despara. She was that woman that was in the Horde, the mask that kind of looked like Hordak's face. And she had like the black armor on and stuff.
So what's her
story? In the comics where she originally showed up in the 2012 to 2016 DC comic run of the Eternity War story arc, and Despara was Hordak's, basically his personal assassin, that, you know, force captain that led his shock troops and stuff. But in reality, it was a brainwashed Princess Adora who later becomes She-Ra. And so part of the storyline is He-Man helping her realize who she is and her redemption arc of going from a villain to a hero.
Do you think they'll bring in She-Ra?
I hope so, because I think that would be awesome. But, you know, it's the rights. The rights are so messy between, like, Mattel doesn't actually own the character rights to She-Ra because they sold her off.
And is she's He-Man's sister, right?
Yeah, she's his twin sister. They were twins. And they actually show it in Revolution. There's a flashback of Hordak abducting her as a baby in the nursery of the royal palace. And like Adam's there as a baby crying, and you see Hordak going out the window with a bundle in his arms. So it's definitely setting it up.
Yeah.
But in terms of like other villains, we haven't seen the Snake Men yet.
Or the Bees, right?
Revolution.
We haven't seen Buzz Off and
he showed up in Revelation.
Did he?
In like the second part during the final battle. He didn't have a speaking part or anything, but he was there. But they were good guys. But yeah, the Snake Men are the third villain faction. There was, you know, Skeletor and his evil warriors, and there's the Horde. And then there's King Hiss and the Snake Men. And so I think, you know, because Teela unlocks the snake magic, I think it's very possible that we'll see the Snake Men at some point. Which would be fun. If you could create your own He-Man character, your own Masters of the Universe character, what would it be like? And what would its toy gimmick be?
Let's see. Well, um, during the pandemic, me and my kids got into Lego quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think my character would be Bildor.
Ooh.
Is there a Bildor?
No.
And he would have an arm that basically has like a block of Lego, and you could build
You can attach things to it.
whatever you want off of it.
I like that. So kind of like Trapjaw's cybernetic arm that you
Mhm.
could attach different things to.
Mhm.
I like that. That's kind of cool.
So Mattel, I'll accept any royalties from that design.
Right. You know, as we
And
know,
Lego,
Mattel is always watching my channel. So.
Yes. It's always shaking.
It is always shaking. We just took out our light system. That was fun. That's okay. What'd you do? There's some angry babies out there.
Yep, he's grumpy. How about you?
So I'm trying to think of something. I was hoping you'd take a little bit longer so I could think.
I'm surprised I came up with that. So
Yeah, that's pretty good.
you got the art skills, and I got everything else
Right.
in the family. So
Makes sense. I think I would like. I think I'd want to do a villain. I like glow in the dark gimmicks. Like that's one of my favorite
you're
toy
a
gimmicks.
big fan of that.
But Scare Glow already exists. I think it would be cool to have like kind of an eldritch type monster character.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen creatures like the Orlax, you know, which is the tentacled creature that shows up in Revelation. I don't know, something along those lines would be kind of cool, like a big. Obviously, Cthulhu's sitting behind me, so I'm kind of thinking about that. But like just a big monster type creature,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because we've seen Granamir the dragon.
So I was actually just thinking about him. Are there more dragons in the universe of He-Man?
In the original cartoon, there's more dragons, but he's like an intelligent dragon. Because the other times dragon shows up, they don't talk. They're just basic. They're like you'd expect a dragon to be, you know, as monsters.
Mm-hmm.
But like he talks and stuff. Yeah, so there are monsters that exist, or dragons that exist, aside from Granamir.
What would the name of the creature be, though?
That's what I'm trying to think of. I'm not very good at this. Ooh, no, I've got a better idea. Instead of a monster, it's a human character or a previously human character. Because Queen Marlena, He-Man's mom, her backstory is that she's an astronaut from Earth that ended up on Eternia.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And so, what if, you know, she got transported through a portal to end up?
Can you pause that? Let's do it.
yeah, maybe it would be cool if like one of her crew members didn't fare so well as she did, where she basically kind of ended up on Eternia unscathed.
Became a queen, right?
Yeah, she ended up. Yeah, she did.
Pretty lucky for her.
Did pretty well for herself.
Pretty good.
So maybe like a astronaut with like the classic, bubble helmet, but like his clothes are all like old and tattered, and he's like become like a partial like skeleton. So he's got like a skull inside the bubble helmet, and he lives off of pure malice. Like that's what's keeping him alive. And he ends up on Eternia like Marlena did, like but years later, like decades later, and then learns that she has become a queen and stuff, and so is like angry and seeking revenge or something.
Interesting. So you and me are both horror fans.
Yeah.
What characters do you think have the most ties to horror?
Horror
within He-Man.
So I think obviously Skeletor. I mean, he's a
Scareglow.
You've got like the werewolf type creatures like Beastman and Grizzlord. There's like it's a bug based character like Mosquitosaur, but I mean he drinks blood and he had a blood pumping mechanism on his chest, which was wild for a toy line, Hordak. A lot of the horror are definitely horror inspired. You've got like Nintendo, who's got like the bug eyes that come out, and Leech, who like saps people of their life force. What do you think? Can you think of any?
Other than, like some of the ones that we. All right, so along that line, you have just wonderful movies like the Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, coming out. So imagine that someone at some point gets the rights to He-Man, and they can do whatever they want, and someone decides to make a horror movie based in the He-Man universe. What is that movie?
What is that movie?
Yeah, what's the
pitch?
What's the pitch for that?
Oof. I think it would be so within Castle Grayskull, down in the dungeon area. There's there's a sticker on the floor, and it's a grate with all of these arms, like monster arms, coming out, and that's what Frogmonger is actually based on. There's the frog guy.
Okay,
like you see kind of parts of him. So my movie pitch is that it's called The Dwell of Souls, which is a rad name.
And is that something from?
Yeah, this is something that's lore accurate.
Okay.
The Dwell of Souls. That's what that is come to be known as. So my movie horror pitch in the world of Motu would be that is opened. It's broken open somehow. And all of those ancient, forbidden monsters that have been locked away are now roaming Eternia. Like, they destroy Castle Grayskull, and they're just mindless kind of monsters, And just the weirdness of what those kind of monsters are. What about you?
Well, you got He-Man, who's the most powerful being, right? So, and maybe this goes against the rules of Master of the Universe, but what if He-Man went bad and basically became Michael Myers / Jason So he's an unstoppable killer, but it's He-Man.
But it's He-Man. So there is actually a precedent for that. There is a version of He-Man who's called Anti-Eternia He-Man.
Was he in one of the...
He first originally showed up in some of the vintage German materials.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's basically the negative He-Man. And he like calls upon the...
I think you've shown...
Yeah, I've got an action figure of him on my
like
shelf.
Black
he's like
and red.
Black, yeah, with red hair. But yeah, he calls upon like the powers of Hell Skull. And in the multiverse comic, that whole story is about him going from multiverse to multiverse, murdering the different He-Men and stealing their power sword to add to his own. Which is kind of rad. So I'm drawing He-Man's muscles right now. And I'm just thinking of the undercover boss sketch of Kylo Ren.
He's got like an 8-pack.
He said that he was shredded. He said that he had an 8-pack. So I'm giving He-Man an 8-pack.
Nice. Yeah, so you got He-Man attacking Camp Eternia, taking out all the Eternia teens,
I like it.
Just horrible ways. But who rises up to be the final girl?
The final girl?
Teela?
Maybe Teela. That'd be a good obvious choice.
Mm-hmm.
Could see that. Would it be She-Ra though? She-Ra would be the final girl because it would have to be somebody. But if you're going by horror rules, it would have to be somebody underpowered that's not on the same level,
right,
as He-Man. So, yeah, probably Teela would probably be the best choice.
One thing I think is interesting is how Castle Grayskull looks like where Skeletor would live.
Yeah.
But it's not. He lives in Snake Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he wants to be in Castle Grayskull.
Yeah, he wants.
He says it's all about the power sword and everything, but we really know it's just aesthetically pleasing to him.
Oh, yeah. It's the branding for him.
Mm-hmm. Have they ever done a Christmas?
Oh, yeah. The Christmas
He-Man thing?
Funny that you should ask. Yeah, the He-Man and She-Ra Christmas special.
Do you think Courtney Cox looks back fondly on her?
Oh, I'm sure.
Role.
Her role in the He-Man movie. I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah. So you said they were planning a sequel to that, and it turned into Cyborg.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. It was a Van Damme movie. I know that much. I think it was called Cyborg.
Has He-Man, has he ever crossed over with like Alien or Predator or anything like that?
No, I think that would be really cool though.
Yeah.
There is, in the comics, there is a one-shot Man-at-Arms story, and it shows him using like thermal vision, and he has a cloaking device to cloak himself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like the idea that at some point Man-at-Arms went up against a Predator and won.
Yeah.
And then either stole his technology or recreated it for his own use.
Yeah, that could be a cool
story.
Crossover.
Mine is definitely going to be the Rob Liefeld version of He-Man because I don't know how to draw hands and feet and stuff.
I struggle with hands too. I've gotten a lot better over the years, but yeah, not one of my strong suits. I do some comic book type of artwork, but I'm not as skilled with like getting good dynamic poses like some of these artists. I do a lot of like straight on shots of things.
Yeah.
Because it's what I'm comfortable with. So I've tried to get better at that, but I love comic book art. And so, I don't know, there's just so much dynamic storytelling with the poses and everything.
So what's your favorite medium as an artist to work in?
Do a lot of digital art. I don't like sketch with pen and pencil as much as I used to. Do a lot of like children type of artwork over the last little while.
Well, you've done work on children's books and stuff, right?
Children's books. Me and my wife are working on like Amazon type books, and a lot of those are for children, you know, so kind of more cartoony stuff I'd say lately, but I can do real detailed work too. Painting I've gone away from a little bit. I used to do a ton of painting in college, and I just haven't done that quite as much ever since I started using a tablet.
Yeah. So my problem with like drawing and coloring or anything like that is my hand gets really tired. And so like I start out trying to be like very detailed and stuff, and then as I go on, I just want to be done.
Yeah. I think it's fun to, I like to save podcasts, and like long podcasts, so that when I do draw, I can just kind of zone out or listen to an audiobook.
Yeah.
And I think it's fun to just spend a few hours working on something, because it takes a while to really get into the piece, you know, whatever you're working on.
Yeah.
And sometimes it flows really well and it just comes out immediately, and other times I'll work at it for hours and it just won't turn out right, and I end up scrapping whatever it might be. So you just got to be willing to move off of stuff,
Be willing to start over
and move on. Yeah. I haven't done a ton of He-Man art, so this is kind of a fun challenge for me to see
what you got.
what I can do.
Yeah.
I think most of it's been for you, actually. So, because when I was little, I drew a ton of the Turtles.
I remember you always drawing Turtles and a little bit of Batman. You definitely draw more Batman now.
Yeah.
I remember we drew a lot of Mortal Kombat characters as kids.
Yeah. I could draw a really good Melina and Katana.
Yeah.
I mean Katana. I didn't like Melina as much because of the
She had the
weird
teeth. Yeah. She was a monster. She wasn't sexy.
But yeah, Sub-Zero, Scorpion. Have they done a Mortal Kombat and He-Man crossover?
No. That'd be kind of fun.
They need to put him in as one of the guest characters.
I remember that was one of the there's like some leaked thing for the new Mortal Kombat game saying that He-Man was going to be like a character, but it doesn't make any sense to have He-Man in a game where people are getting ripped apart and stuff. With the Injustice comic, he'd be perfect if they put him in the next Injustice game.
That would be cool.
I hope they do that.
Yeah.
But again, I think it comes down to like character rights and stuff, so I don't know if they actually would.
Do you think they're making another Injustice?
I hope so. I like the Injustice games.
Because Injustice 2 has been out for what?
Years.
8 years?
Came out on PS4.
10 years? I remember buying that when my daughter was like a baby. So yeah, it's probably been close to 10 years. So with this live action movie coming out, and maybe this is a whole episode you could do. So if you don't want to talk about it here, what would your pitch be on how
for a He-Man movie?
Yeah, how to bring it live action.
So I think it needs to take place on Eternia.
Mm-hmm.
I think you do kind of a quasi. You don't do a full origin story, but I think you can do like a quick,
some of the details,
recap of what's going on, of who He-Man is, who the main players are, things like that, what the central conflict is. But I think you just make it be, centered on Skeletor trying to take control of the power of Grayskull. And I think for me, I like the lore of the two halves of the sword.
Yeah.
So I think you lean into that about how there's two halves. There's the light half and the dark half, because I think that sets up a good dichotomy, of why these characters exist and stuff. But you could have, He-Man has his sword because it's the good half of the sword, and the sorceress obviously gave it to him, and that's how he has his powers and stuff. But he learns of the existence of the second half of the power sword. And so his quest is to go and find it in order to keep it out of Skeletor's hands. And then Skeletor gets wind of what's going on. And so it's kind of like a race against time to who can get it first. And they go to like different locales on Eternia.
So many cool things you could bring to life,
and like have like towards the end of it, or wherever the sword is hidden, it could be like an Indiana Jones style thing where it's like in like some ancient temple protected by booby traps and stuff, and He-Man has to like rely on more than just his strength in order to get through, and that's where like his allies and stuff come in, like Orko and people like that,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think just have it a quest for the other half of the power sword before the bad guys get it.
I mean, that's good and everything. My pitch is a movie titled Weekend at Kildor's.
Ooh, at Keldor's?
Keldor's, yeah. And they have to pretend like he's still alive.
They accidentally murdered Keldor.
Yeah, to keep the party going.
And He-Man's just a frat boy.
It's in his college days. So do you do Prince Adam and He-Man?
Yep. Yeah, you definitely do Prince Adam and He-Man, because I think there is a part in the movie where he has to, in order to obtain the other half, he has to go through trials. Mm-hmm. And one of the trials is, he has to prove his heart, the worth of his heart. And that's an important aspect of He-Man, in my opinion, is that the heart of He-Man is Prince Adam and his goodness. And so I think he would either, because you got to have it. I think it's important to have a transformation scene.
Yeah.
Of He-Man becoming, or Adam becoming.
Yeah, that's true.
He-Man, like that's what people want to see.
It's a big climax, right?
I mean, you could have it start out of Adam becoming He-Man, but through the course of it, he gets powered down and has to rely on his strength as Adam. His different strengths that are unique to what he can do as He-Man.
Do they kind of have to do a lot of almost like Superman type storylines with He-Man?
Yeah, I think they're similar.
Depower him.
Yeah, to make it interesting, because I mean, where he's the most powerful man in the universe, there's not a lot to challenge him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If you can just show up and punch everything, then where's the excitement? Where's the climax or the drama or whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think you have, you know, I think you make it a quest for the second half of the Power Sword. I think you pace it like a good, you know, kind of adventure movie. So not like just pure action where it's just He-Man punching things and throwing boulders the whole time, but like have like some adventure to it. Yeah, there's some good fight scenes and stuff with the different villains, and you know, throw a good monster fight in there where he has to fight like a big dragon or something. Like that would be cool because you want to showcase his, you know, his strengths. Like it's like Superman, like you said. You know, if you're watching a Superman movie, you want to see him do something really cool. I think you definitely have, you know, the love story in there of Adam and Tila.
Well,
because that's what I like. We want to see the good stuff. Yeah, make it a quest for the sword. The second half of the Power Sword. And I think that would be fun.
I think you definitely focus on the sword for sure, because there's a lot of really good history there, and I think, you know, if you tell the story in the right way, I think a lot of audiences will be like, dang, there's
potential
there.
There.
Really good story to, because I think that's the problem when I've mentioned He-Man and stuff to other people my age, or you know, they don't have this image of something goofy, but there's a lot of, like we've talked before, like futuristic fantasy. There's a good mix of genres, and I think you could make something really awesome, and that could be just as good as anything like in the Marvel universe.
Well, you bring in a little bit, you know, you bring in some classic superhero type elements, and that's where, you know, the dual identity of Adam and He-Man can come into play, you know. But you also have like some like you get some Lord of the Rings type stuff in there with like the deep ideas of, you know, how magic works and how the, you know, what the different races are of Eternia, and, you know, who lives on Eternia and how does that involve the royal family and things like that, you know, and what are the key things at play vying for power, like why do you need a royal family, why is a king important, you know, and are there like free peoples of Eternia, is there a need to expand the realm to, you know, liberate other people across the planet, like things like that. What's He-Man's role? Is he just an agent of the king and kind of serves as his, you know, is that what secures the king's power? Is He-Man is always there to help him because it's his dad? Like things like that. I don't know. I think those kind of things would be fun to explore.
What if the movie showed that the true source of He-Man's power were little creatures in his bloodstream?
Yeah, that'd be cool. And you could come up with a cool name for it to explain it even further, you know? Because that's what people want, you know. We want to
focus on the politics of Eternia.
Well, not even focus on the politics of Eternia. We want to focus on
trade and
what are the trade routes of Eternia?
Sorry for any prequel fans out there, just poking fun.
You know, and then the sequel, you know, He-Man defeats Skeletor, but then the sequel, you got to bring a bad guy back, and everyone loves Skeletor, so, you know, you don't really explain it, but somehow Skeletor returns. I mean, that's what people really want to see.
Right. Give the people what they want.
You know, the important things we don't want to really explain, like how did Skeletor return, but the stuff that we want explained are Yeah, how do all of these little particles of magic turn He-Man into He-Man?
Right.
But I do think it would be fun
You're
to
going to get some
somehow.
negative
I
comments.
know. It's fine. I'm used to it now. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Oh, they need to find a fun way to incorporate like the end of episode morals into the movie, where they leave like a moral lesson. Like, I think that would be funny.
That'd be
kind of a fun little callback, even if it's like a joke, you know,
or like an after credits scene.
Yeah, just have like a fun little.
You need to have Dolph Lundgren in it in some role.
I think he needs to be the king. I think he needs to be King Randor, or he could even be like King Grayskull. You know, like a flashback or a vision that Adam has about his destiny. You know, where he learns more about why he was chosen to be He-Man, things like that. But yeah, some adventure. You want some adventure in there. You want a little bit of romance in there. You want some good action set pieces. You want some fun, but not too jokey. Like, have fun with it, but don't make it a joke, kind of thing.
Yeah, it needs to be.
Like, take it seriously, but you can still have fun with it. What I really liked about Revolution is that it brought in, like, especially like the final battle between He-Man and Skeletor, like they were just throwing puns back and forth with each other. Like, I think that's fun. Like, Skeletor at one point called him, what do you say, little prince, look at my abs at one point.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. I think that's funny. I am going to put the coup de grace because I'm basically done with my sketch. And I'm putting the coup de grace in of the sun in the corner of the page.
As all great artists do,
right?
You know.
It's kind of my hallmark. But this is Eternia, so it doesn't have one sun. It has.
Do they have two?
I know they have 2 moons.
2 moons. It seems like a detail you should know how many suns Eternia has.
Michael,
did we find a chip in the armor here?
No, what you got to understand is that I do this all for clout. I'm not actually a He-Man fan. I'm a shill for the brand. I pretend that I'm into this stuff because I get paid.
Yeah, so you don't really like
not
Revolution or Revelation.
No.
Yeah. Netflix paid you off.
Yeah, I get that good Netflix money.
Can I get some of the Netflix money?
Or? Sure. There's plenty to go around. They're just throwing it. I mean, the secret to getting Netflix money is you have a YouTube channel with less than 700 subscribers.
Not salty about this.
That's what Netflix aims for. That's their sweet spot.
But they go where the people are, you know?
Yeah.
Just like
Or they don't go where the people are because that's a good, smart decision for a multi-billion-dollar company to hire people that don't have a good following, that talk about very niche things, topics. That's just good business sense, Michael.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know how close you are to being finished.
So don't show yours yet.
I won't.
Yeah.
I won't.
I'm fairly close.
But why don't we talk about casting choices? If you were to cast a He-Man movie, who is your cast?
I think a great He-Man, and probably my number one pick would be, is that Jack Richter guy, Alan
Richter.
Richter?
I think that's how you say it.
Richson, something like that.
Richson. Yeah, that's it.
I think
Alan Richson.
he's gigantic. He's a great actor.
He is.
He's very charming.
Mhm.
You know.
He's the blonde, blue-eyed.
Yeah, he's got
the
physique
bulk.
already.
Now,
I think he's a great choice.
who would you cast as Prince Adam?
That's where I have a little bit of a tougher time.
Because I don't think you want to do like the digital thing like they did with Captain America. I think that's, I mean, it looked good for the
just
time.
do a different actor.
Yeah.
And have them, well.
But they'd have to, you know, kind of be similar looking. And
when is Prince Adam like ever like do you do like the Shazam thing where it's a teenager?
No, I think he's the same age as
he.
I think he's the same person. Like he doesn't,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like he doesn't become an adult or anything like that. Like he's the same age. And like he doesn't, like his, I don't know. It's not like a whole thing where he goes from Banner to to the Hulk, where he's like loses his intellect.
Right.
Like he's still the same person with all of his flaws and stuff like that. Like, I think that's what's fun about the Forge of Destiny is you see He-Man make mistakes, and and like there's a part in the beginning where he does some He-Man stuff, and then he is headed back to the palace, and he depowers down, and the source says, you don't have to go as Adam. You have Battle Cat that you could ride back to the palace, and it will make the trip faster. And so he turns back into He-Man again, so he can ride Battle Cat home. Like things like that, I think, and I think that's a good way to humanize the character.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as casting, I don't know, it's tough. I do like the actor that they did have cast. I can't remember his name for the
That's
Netflix.
not the Noah.
It wasn't the Noah guy, and he was in like West Side Story, the new one. He's a blonde guy.
Who's the guy that's in Twisters and also in the new Top Gun?
Oh,
Glenn
Powell.
Do you think because he's pretty big, but he's also slim. He's probably too hunky to be Prince Adam.
Yeah, maybe though.
Because you probably want somebody that seems smaller and weaker, right?
Yeah, Kyle Allen. That's who was cast when it was at Netflix.
He's a good choice.
I think he's a good choice.
What's he been in?
So he was in that. What I recently saw him in was in A Haunting in Venice. He was the young guy in that.
Good movie.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
I think it's my favorite in that series. Because it didn't have so much shoddy CGI in it like the other ones do.
So yeah, I think you definitely get two different actors to play Adam and He-Man, but I think they both have to be charming, and because Prince Adam is a charming character.
Mm-hmm.
So what about Skeletor? Do you do practical effects with Skeletor, or do you do like CGI?
I think you do a little mix of both somehow. Because I think if you rely too much on CGI, it looks weird. But like Red Skull, I don't know. They do some cool. I was thinking about this when we were watching the 80s movie. They actually have some pretty good practical effect skull faces now. Like even in Fallout, the ghoul.
Oh, he looked great.
He looked great, and it didn't look.
And that's on a TV budget,
terrible,
like a streaming budget.
And I know a lot of that was practical, but then they did some CGI with it.
Yeah, to like remove the nose and stuff.
And then like The Walking Dead, there's some really good skull faces.
Yeah, so I think
on that are.
I think it's like technology has come a long way to where they can do something really neat for Skeletor without just relying on pure. Because I don't want pure CGI. Maybe a little bit in like After Effects, in post, but like I think I want the bulk of it to be practical.
I definitely am a bigger fan of more practical effects in movies. I think a lot of the movies we've seen lately just kind of, I don't know, the effects in them don't look great. It's just blurry, and I don't know. They cost a lot, but I feel like you can't beat the real thing. So if you could make real sets, that would be ideal. And mix, I don't know, you could, where it is such an 80s culture thing, you do a lot of practical effects in it, and even mix some like matte painting type aesthetic into it.
Yeah.
For the world with some CGI. Getting close.
What about Man at Arms? Who do you cast as Man at Arms? We already said Dolph Lundgren could be King Randor. I think that would be cool. Or King Grayskull.
Mm-hmm.
I think my choice for Man at Arms would be the guy that plays a comedian, Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan, he'd be good.
I think he'd be good.
Need somebody who can do a good stash.
Yeah. He kind of has that mentor type of personality, and because, needs to fit that role. So kind of a quasi-fatherly figure.
Who's the guy from Game of Thrones that was Bruce Wayne and the Titans show?
Oh, I don't remember. I know who you're talking about.
Khaleesi for a long time.
He was the disgraced knight, right?
Yeah.
He was the son of the leader of the Watch.
He could be good.
Mormont. Yeah, maybe. What about Tila? I like is it Karen Gillan?
Mm-hmm.
Nebula, and from the new Jumanji movies. I mean, she's already a redhead. And I like her. I think, who's the one actress that we like that was in one of the Bond movies? The Anna de
Armas.
Yeah. However you pronounce her name.
Yeah.
I think she'd be good.
Butchered that.
I think Evelyn, you just do who they...
Lena Headey?
Yeah. Lena Headey. Because she was awesome for the voice.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a good actress anyway. I mean, she's awesome as Cersei. So I think she could pull it off easy.
I don't mind. I can't remember her name. But did you see the live action Aladdin?
I never did see that one.
The girl that's Jasmine.
Is she good?
She could be a good Tila. She's not redhead, but
yeah.
Jessica Chastain would have been perfect Tila, I think, but she might be a little older, maybe.
She might be a good sorceress.
Yeah,
there you go. Mother.
Not that she's super old, but you probably want kind of a younger.
Yeah, I think you want a younger cast. I think you want like early 20s for your cast. I'm just looking at our pictures and I'm so embarrassed for you.
I know. Jeez. I don't know how I'm gonna. Why did I agree to this?
I don't know. Idiot.
Just brought me here to make fun of me.
I know. I've been doing it my whole life.
Alright, I'm like seconds away.
We're almost there, everybody. Thanks for watching.
How long have we?
We've been going for an hour and 7 minutes, Michael.
Okay.
Not bad. I'll trim out a lot of the dead air.
No, that's golden.
That's why people are here. That's what the people want.
Who's Skeletor?
That one's tough. I think
You don't necessarily need like a super young actor for that.
no, and
because it's mostly the voice, and they could do cosmetics for anybody.
I think someone maybe like Mads Mikkelsen would be good.
I don't know if his voice is
That's what I'm wondering.
Though.
His physicality would be good. Let's see.
What about guy that plays the ghoul?
Walton Goggins?
He's
Walton
got
Goggins?
kind of that good, because he plays a very obnoxious character in a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And he's definitely a scary guy, you know.
He might, yeah.
He could actually be maybe a good skill.
Or would he be a better like henchman, like Triclops or something?
Yeah. I'm just typecasting him now because he was the ghoul.
Yeah, so you just want to see him as another skull face.
Yeah.
Well, if we're going that route, what about Hugo
Weaving? Yeah.
Because his voice is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be a good skill. Now, for the voice, do you lean into like the high pitched classic cackle, or do you make it a little more sinister?
I think you make it's live action, so
you got to be a little bit more
to trim out some of the goofiness. I think you make it a little more serious. And then,
I think he can kind of like. I think for the most part, you make it be like sinister and stuff. But like he can kind of dip into the goofiness every once in a while.
Yeah.
You're even doing the smudging and stuff like that.
Yeah, you know, I gotta.
So we did different mediums. Michael did, pencil on sketch paper. So his is pencil art. I did. Oh yeah, we got a sign. What am I thinking? I'll sign in the bricks.
All right. While Colt is signing, I'll go ahead and share mine. And again, I'm a beginner when it comes to Colt and his skills, but here you go. Good hour sketch here. I just have a hard time getting the angle right.
I know. And we'll get good pictures of it to post online.
So there you go. Not too bad.
It's all right. Now, my medium was just paper and ballpoint. That's my preferred medium. I like ballpoint.
I'm still impressed with the level of detail you can bring out.
I mean, it's like it's like a sculpture. Okay, now here's mine. There we go. That's my He-Man. I can't draw legs, so I think he's like on the castle.
Oh, you got both weapons.
Turret. Yeah, I gave him his axe and his sword, but you gave him a shield.
Yeah.
And he's in his classic pose.
Yeah.
So you guys get to decide.
There you go.
Yeah. Vote on what your favorite is, and then all of those votes will go in a drawing, and whoever wins gets
both of them.
Both.
Yeah.
We signed them.
Yeah. So
yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining us for our He-Man sketch contest, and listening to us
talk about random topics that we planned well in advance.
Yes,
for.
We had a script we were following. I mean, it's right. Here's the script right here. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I will post your art information in the show notes. Cool. So if anybody, do you take commissions?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he takes commissions. Reach out to him. He does great work. He is, all joking aside, he is one of my favorite artists, and I do have multiple pieces of his art hanging around my house, and I'm very proud of the work you do and impressed by it. I definitely don't have the skill that you have, and he's my little brother, and so I'm always going to be proud of my little brother.
Yeah. Likewise, I think you've done some awesome things with this channel, and it's awesome to see some of the success you've had with it, and just even that you get free toys once in a while and get cool stuff sent to you. That's awesome. And you got to watch Revolution early.
That was really cool.
Really
that
cool.
Was something I never, when we were kids, if I would have known that I would get to watch an He-Man show, get an early screener for it, and get to talk to people who work on the show and things like that. Like,
yeah,
it's like, it's a dream come true for me.
When
it makes me happy.
Put myself in your shoes. I'm a big Batman fan, so if I had the opportunity to interview people like Matt Reeves and Christopher Nolan, and people like that, and get early viewings of that, would be freaking awesome. So it's really exciting.
Thanks.
Yeah. So congrats.
And I appreciate everybody out there for the support and for tuning in and watching the interviews and the videos that I put out there. And yeah, you guys are the best, and I have a good group of followers. So you have the power, and as they say on Eternia, they don't say goodbye, they say
good journey.
All right, you guys have a good one.